Hello, everyone. Welcome. Uh, welcome to It's Time. This is Nazla. Most of the people call me Naz. And we are here with our episode 2, how to motivate yourself, how to stay motivated, and how to motivate your people. It's a very, very inspirational topic. So we would like you to get inspired and receive tools and strategy and practical strategies with this topic. So we have Alexander, Eric, and Pascal to join us. So we are very excited to be here with you, and we're going to enjoy the time together. So I'm going to invite them, and 1 second. Yes. Hello, Eric.
Hello.
Alexander.
Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, guys. How is it? Good?
Fantastic.
Good.
Hot.
Yes.
Ready to rumble.
Yes, perfect. So welcome, everyone. We see that some people are coming up right now, so that's good. So maybe we're going to just take a little bit of time to for you to introduce yourself. Eric, very quickly say welcome, and Pascal, before we go ahead and start it.
Do I start?
Yes, Eric,
Okay.
You start.
All right. Hey, everybody, I see that there are people coming in. I see Rita is coming with us again, and I love seeing all of you again. And for all of you who do know me, I'm just gonna say hello. I'm human. I guess keep it raw and real, and I'm gonna rock and roll with Pascal to give you some flames in the motivational aspect.
Thanks, Eric. Yeah, it's not about the titles or what we did. It's about the future and how to move the stuff. So today it's about giving also a little bit energy over the screen, which is not so easy, but of course we're going to give our best, and I'm pretty sure that we will set you a little on fire today.
That's good. I love the energy. So I'm gonna actually start with a question. Since we said that we're gonna have an honest conversation, we're gonna just bring our strategy and personal challenges. So I want to start with Pascal. What motivates you? We just like to hear your inner core motivation to start to understand where the motivation comes.
Yeah, well, it's of course there is always a big motivation. That's something that attracts you, why you get your ass out of bed every morning, even when you want to stay in bed, even then. But it's time to do something, and that's actually every morning. That's the bigger scope, and the bigger scope is that my experience showed me that there are a lot of nice people on this planet, actually the majority. And for them, it's worth raising the voices and fighting for, and making this world a little bit a better place. And that brings me actually motivation every morning to stand up and to stay up late in the evening and doing stuff. It's more, it's a calling. It's something what you hear when you get called, and you have to follow that somewhere. So that is really motivating. But of course, there are also days where that call is a little softer. These days are also, I think we all have them. And then it's, of course, then you have to use things that you learned over the years to keep that inner motivation, to motivare, to move, to be on the road, to do that. That's really, so yeah, that's what's motivating me actually every morning.
That's very great to hear. So I can hear your purpose and passion, with what you do, and it kind of it brings the motivation. So thank you so much for sharing. Eric, we want to hear about your motivators.
People, as much as they can be my demotivators. No, definitely people. I agree with what Pascal said, and especially these days. For some reason, I'm feeling extremely excited most of the time because of all the future potential that is right now just like put on a silver platter in front of us. And it motivates me to, in a weird way, I must say, when I'm hearing that there are people out there where I can feel that I can contribute to, and that's what drives me. And it's even more like that now. That's maybe why I'm super excited as well. So, no.
That's awesome. As humans, we begin. I mean, human begins all deeply want to believe in something, right? They want to understand why, and the big why is just what it just really motivates them. So, and so according to your experience, for the people that you work with, what has been the like a biggest challenge, like the kind of a biggest challenge like that causes like a lack of motivation with the people around you, and what was your strategy just to bring the motivation back? Have you had this kind of like experience, especially during the pandemic or even before that? Eric, we can start with you.
So the question is if I have ever had felt this experience of having no motivation.
I mean, around you that like loses the motivation, where that has been kind of a challenging for you to bring back their motivation alive, and what was like your tools and strategy to do that?
Okay, well, I can start with the breakup with my girlfriend. That for sure brought my motivation down a lot. And this is a moment when I'm really looking at myself and realizing, learning, applying to myself the tools such as taking, I gave myself a deadline. I gave myself a deadline of 1 week to really feel sad. Like I challenged myself to feel everything that I felt without trying to make it superficial or ignore it or anything. I just really wanted to feel it all. But I said to myself, I will feel it for 1 week. And then after 1 week, I will come back and really just take a look at myself and ask, do I need to, or do I want to feel like this any longer? And that's how I quickly created that energy within myself.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That's good. That's also I think helps with the self-awareness, like you're just really good with your emotions and understanding your emotions. I think that really comes with like motivating yourself and just going through those challenges, because that must be very helpful for you at that moment.
I mean, motivation is
thank you.
Emotional.
Yes, it is emotional. Yes, but like when we think about the motivation and emotions, it's also important to look at the intrinsic and an external like motivation. So it kind of like it changes, especially for leaders to look at it. But for individuals, yeah, it's very important to just motivate yourself. Thank you, Pascal. Do you have any comments like on your strategy on the motivation?
Yeah, of course. The people that know me know also that it's really hard to find a moment where I'm not motivated. But the pandemic really struck me, not in work, but in sitting at home. I'm used to be everywhere, traveling all the time, and being in this box, so a little bit like a prisoner, and physically that had also an effect. So I'm normally doing a lot of sport, and suddenly, then you are in this negative spiral. It's somehow, and then it's getting worse because it costs them even more energy to flip it again. But what I did actually is making a true decision and remembering and applying also that decision means that there is no way back. Decision from the Latin word decaedere, so cutting off from, means that there is no way back. And the no way back is that's not me. That's not me. I am a sports guy. I have to go do that. And since then, I'm already doing in the morning, and you can do that with making small steps. The first morning, maybe only putting the sport shoes on and running with them in the house a little bit. The next day, that ritual is already, oh, I have already the shoes on. Now I can also go outside. And then you do it step by step in small things. You create this identity again, back again for yourself. And I am is very, very powerful. That really drives you then back into or gives you back the driver's seat, actually. And that's what brings in the motivation back.
Yes, thank you so much. And all the participants, please think about any questions or comments. If you want to join to studio with us, please write through the chat. Alexander, will help you, and we'll just reply you back, and you can just join us in the studio. Okay, so we actually have a comment, from Mette Reberg. Just to clarify, you cannot motivate your people. You can inspire people. You can only motivate yourself. And she has a smiley face. Do you have any comments on that? Or just, answering back to her? Like, what do you think?
Pascal, go. You were laughing.
Yeah.
You were laughing.
You're completely right. That's the point. Motivare comes from moving, and when people try to motivate you, which means they try to move you, then you create resistance. That's a law of nature. That's what's happening when you try to push somebody to something. Then you create a natural resistance. So you can inspire. That's inspirare. That's breathing in. That's coming from the outside in, giving that energy, and then creating a pull, which is then attracting you. So I can sign underneath that sentence. Very nice, very good comment.
And I would
I
would like to approach it from to the point where I would like to say, yes, I'm totally seeing the path there, and I love to talk about triggers. What in our environment, people around us, what triggers us, and so forth. And that is always coming from the inside, right? What triggers me doesn't trigger Pascal per se, but what I would love to add to this comment from Mette, which is brilliantly put, is we as people can also, we can create an environment as how we behave ourselves. That could be one of them, right? That allows the other person to feel that they can step forward, that there's like a pull of energy, like, ooh, I would love to do that, which is then coming back to what you said, Pascal. That's inspiration. Yeah. But for everyone out there, just feel this thing of, many people say, oh, I need something or someone to motivate me. And that's like, yeah, you're talking about what would trigger you to feel motivated.
Absolutely. Choose your peers wisely. It's very important. So look for the people that are surrounding you, where you have a lot of contact, that they give you energy, actually, that they motivate you, that they raise your standards, that they bring you on the next level. That's very, very important. If you have groups that look around you, you become like the 5 people that you spend the most time with, and that's very important to choose your own environment. It's very, very important, Erik. You're completely right.
Yeah, thank you so much. And since we talked about the inspiring people and the leaders, do you have any kind of tools and strategies as a leader where you are motivating your people? Like, what are some of the approaches like a leader should be leading the inspiration that will bring the motivation for their people at the workplace or any other places?
So you mean like, how do you motivate your people? Like, what specific tool for that?
As a leader. Yes, as a leader, since we talk about that, as a leader, you don't really motivate, you inspire them. So what are some strategies that leads the way to the motivation as a leader? Some of this, as strategies, and some of the, bullet points that the leaders should be really doing it. Pascal, do you have anything?
Yes.
Or Eric? Yes.
One thing is very important is the way that you talk. The way that you talk to your people. I just had, and I think it was this morning, I read an article about the German Minister of Health, who said then a sentence which I hear then very often from people in these situations, that start with, "I cannot imagine." So what he said is, "I cannot imagine that in half a year we're going to have parties again." Well, that's not how a leader should talk. That's how a manager is talking. And if you want to lead your own life, if you want to lead your people, then you have to talk about what you can imagine. You have to talk to the things what you see, and not what you not see, not what is not possible, but what is possible. How you see it. People follow leaders, they follow people. That's very important, and there you have to lead the way. That's how you talk is so important. And the second thing is learn to celebrate. As a leader, it's also important to learn to celebrate with the people the small stuff, the small things, because that will also generate this environment to not only to say thank you and these kind of things. We know that's having a big effect, but to learn to celebrate the small victories. That's very important. Eric, what do you think?
No, I think you summarized it very well there, and
What do you think?
I would maybe I would like to approach this though, because I heard that you said leaders, Nasli, and I would just like to kind of counter with saying, for any person out there, you don't have to be a leader as in an official term. Just you being you as a human being, you can, with using so many different tools, be more of a motivational source for people by focusing on exactly what Pascal said right there. It's really creating. I love to use this thing of be the energy that you want to attract. If you are being that person that walks around and looking at and talking about and focusing in that case then on all the negative aspects of all the limitations, I can give you a practical example. When I'm talking to people, many times the first reaction is this: no, but that's difficult. That won't be easy. Can you really do that? That's a negative, avoiding approach to whatever scenario it was, versus, oh, I didn't think about that. Can you tell me more? Or, yeah, that really tickles me here. What could be the opportunities? What could be the ways we would do it? But I'm having this conversation with friends, family, clients, and so forth. And often it's like, oh no, that won't be easy. Well,
yeah, that's true. Actually, we have a great question from Rudy regarding the like a team motivation. So and on the current state. So I'm just going to bring it out with the current context. With the current context of remote working, how would you create this environment to keep a team motivated?
Okay.
That's a tricky one.
Would you like to? Yeah, that's a tricky one. Like you're motivated and inspired. Like how would you? I think they're a little like important like motivators. Like especially like working remotely and motivating and inspiring a team. It's been a big topic. Working remotely. What do you guys think, Eric?
Well, I think this time right now really showcases how poor we are in communicating in general. Because what could be a very effective way remotely, right? We do right now. How can we, create that source of motivation with someone, right? Well, talk to them.
Yes, Rudy is actually with us. Yes, Rudy is with us right now. Hi, Rudy.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, hi.
Sorry about that. Yes.
Glad to be here. And yes, as I said, myself, I'm based in Luxembourg to begin with. And I know Pascal, and he's invited me, so I'm very glad to be here. But yes, I think it's a big challenge because, we're talking about what is possible, what is not possible. So, but yes, this is for me is a big question. I think it's been lasting for a while, and on the long run, I think we're also forming new habits. I think I can see positive aspect of working remotely, and because we can do things at our own pace, and manage our own schedule. So I think we avoid traveling, which is great. But also in the meantime, I personally like physical contact. I like to meet people. I need this physical interactivity, and I miss it a lot. And I believe I'm not the only one. So do you have any tricks, or have you had any other feedback from other people, other organizations who said, look, this is how we manage this physical distance? And yeah, so I would be very interested to hear about maybe some feedback, some experiences you've had over the last few weeks or months on that topic.
I heard a really cool example from from a mentor of mine. She is having cooler moments with her team. So they are really scheduling times like this when you're having face-to-face conversations. But in those moments, they are seriously sharing like water, wine, tea, coffee, something like that. And they are only talking about, how are you feeling today? What's going on at home? What have you been pondering about? What's going on? So that they have this moment where it's not about work. It's about them as human beings. And they get to connect. And she said she had really positive feedback, and how team members had said, I'm feeling heard. I'm feeling like not only the leader, the manager in this case, care, but that we come together and say, team.
Okay. I think it's a great. Clearly, it sounds like a great trick, and maybe I'm very interested to introduce it in the company I'm working with at the moment, because I think because it brings some realness. I think, and suddenly we disconnect from work and we have this little moment. And I've observed something. It was yesterday. I was in the office because we go maybe 1 day a week or maximum 2 days a week. And we were working on different floors, and then suddenly we gathered in the kitchen. Usually coffee is a place, and we just had this feeling of cracking a few jokes. And normally we don't talk so much because we're not part of the same teams, but we just felt that it was a great moment to share together. And I think I came out of this very energized and happy. And it made me realize even more I miss these moments. So, but what you suggested also online maybe can be a very good thing to try, and it seems very simple to implement. So I'm definitely trying to give it a shot.
Yeah.
Maybe if I can also give you first, hi Rudy.
Hi.
Good to see you. Good to see you. You can make also even small practical things, which will help people to in these online bombardments. What we have. One tip that I always give to managers is, when you want to talk about something, have a walking meeting. So walk with somebody and talk, because that's a physical thing. If you look into the same direction and you walk and you have a talk, you're not confronting anymore, and that's a little bit what's happening now with the Zoom calls. You're confronted all the time. So yes. Sometimes it's also good to turn that you don't see the people, turn around and just hear them, or put your earplugs on and go outside with your telephone. And if they need to see you, then take it, but then walk, because motivation comes also from the embodied walking. You have to walk in that. And what also helps, and it's a real stupid thing, but it works, is the background. So if you have pictures where you can see far, where you can do that with the virtual backgrounds and stuff, where you can see far, it's easier for the brain because it's opening up. It's better so it's the small things. And for example, what I did in a seminar that we had like, I think 5 or 6 blocks of 90 minutes a day, which is very, very heavy. One of the tasks for the people was to, every time of the 90 minutes, they had to change the place where they sit. So they had to rearrange they had to go to another place. And so there's a little, you can do stuff.
Yes.
Be creative. It really works, and people like it. So
And I mean, I'm just going to pop in there and say also, like, when we are talking online, I am surprised by how few that actually have figured out how to use all these interactive tools that you can use when you're having a meeting, an online presentation, a speech, a workshop, or whatsoever. Like, there are a lot more than just having a Zoom call and everybody's in the call. You can actually, you can use breakout rooms. You can use these polls when you can see who's saying what. And you can, like, what I'm saying is, introduce interactive activities, even though it is here on your screen.
I agree with that. I mean, I've been managing workshops remotely, and again, it doesn't have the same flavor, but you can still do things. So, and it's interesting, you get good takeaways. So,
Rudy, I just want to. Can you guys hear me? Yes, right? Okay. Yes. I also just, I experienced something that worked very well. So I've been in the corporate world, like in HR, like for many years. And what I did, with the leaders and employees and people, like in general, is using the gamification. And that's a very good tool. And you can actually use it online and you can create your game, especially if you are working globally, and you can just bring the inclusiveness. And that's another, like a big topic, of today. So you can just bring a little taste of different cultures, and they can bring and prepare some questions, and it is so much fun, and people, they can get to know each other, especially if you have like a new employees. So it's been like very great experience for remote people to just motivate.
I have to laugh, Nas, because, and this is not scripted, because Rudy is in the play14.org, where it's all about playing and gaming and doing this.
Oh, really?
No, but
that's awesome.
It's fine.
It's really fantastic.
I'm a firm believer, so yes, definitely.
Okay, that's great. Thank you so much, Rudy, for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, bye, Rudy.
Bye.
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 So fantastic. Sometimes coincidence strikes us.
Yes. And just following, like the Rudy's question, I have another one that is very related to, people, and that comes from Jana. And I will be, if it clicks, it will show. Yes, it's coming up. Can you just, can you classify different types of triggers that have an impact on people's motivation? Like, to your point, Eric, like a little bit of, like triggers that you mentioned at the beginning. Like, do you have any other different types of that you would like to add?
And before I say them, can I just shoot back to maybe everyone is watching and see if they can come back with some examples too? What do you think are one of the, say, top 5 triggers out there, really? Because can you classify different types of triggers that have an impact on people's motivation? Definitely. And I would just love to see, even now live, or even reply what you think are triggers. But to answer the question as well, let's do 3 that I find extremely important for myself. Okay. The number 1, food, what I eat. And that can be something super simple that we also inspire others and recommend others to take time for. And it's not only just to take the moment to eat, but it's also to take that moment to cook it, to get it, like make that a moment for yourself. But nutrition, I mean, our stomach is our, second brain, they refer to it, right? It really brings you to a different mood depending what you eat. Second, what I like, and I'm trying to keep it super practical right now, music, the vibrations, the beat, and especially if you play music with a little bit more beat, that kind of it drives your dopamine levels a little bit more. You get into the mood. And third, sunlight and fresh air. Even if you can't get out, have the windows open, or take a moment to just put your head out of the window. But I think that one is leading to what Pascal said there too, isn't it? Get out and go for a walk. So if I would just classify 3 triggers to Jana there, it would be food, it would be music, and it would be sunlight and fresh air.
Thank you, Eric. And Pascal?
Well, it's hard to top that, Eric, because these are the really good triggers. But when somebody would ask me that, so if they want an advice for me, I would ask them, or I would give them a task which is remember what motivates you. So everybody has different triggers, and they just have to think back. It can be, as Eric said, a certain type of music which brings you back into that motivation state again. So when I started to run now again, yeah, sorry to say, I had the Rocky music again because I grew up with that. And I get back into with my friends at the time. I had that image in my head again with friends from when we were 12 and 13, and yeah, and imagining, of course, that brought me back. And so I remembered what motivated me at that time, and it was these kind of pieces of music. So I did exactly this. So that's then the trigger actually for everybody, and. Yeah, classifying is then of course always it's so individual, but yeah, to move and to use the simple things in life like fresh air, a cold shower in the morning. I know a lot of people have to go out of their comfort zone for this, but believe me, it triggers dopamine 100%.
100%. And I would really want to highlight what you said, Pascal, because this question is so individual that even though we're giving options here, like I shared what triggers me, right? And therefore, it doesn't mean that it triggers everybody out there. So I love that you said, look back in time a little bit. And I like the Rocky one.
Yeah, it was I could show it even on the telephone now when I was running this morning. So
thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much, Jenna, for your questions. So we have Danielle who is going to join us with a question. So Danielle, hello, Danielle.
Hi, Pascal, Eric. Hi, all of you. You know, psychological safety is, of course, something that is. Can you hear me? Because I dropped my MacBook. Okay, so I'm now on the phone. Psychological safety is so important, and I think to be allowed to make you know, to be honest about the things that are not working very well and the mistakes you made. It is so important, you know, to have this feeling of safety. What are your tips in this period of time to make your team feel safe, you know, so they can speak out about the things they're afraid of, they're bothered, their lack of motivation or whatever. I think it needs a very safe space to speak out.
Pascal, do you want to start?
Thanks, Daniela. We have to watch out, Eric. Daniela is a neuroscientist. We cannot we cannot miss this one. Now, what I would say is start with yourself. So start sharing, being honest, being open, being vulnerable yourself. I remember there always the poem from Marianne Williamson and so on with let your light shine, and that gives other permission to do the same. It's the same here also. If you start with sharing, okay, this is my concerns, then you start to connect, and when you connect, you're not alone. And when you're not alone, you create a safe space. That's for a lot of people very important. So reach out to people, have Zoom calls if that's necessary, have calls on the phone a lot. Reach out to people that didn't reach out the last, I don't know, a long time maybe, and just start a conversation there again, and start with these things. So that would be to create that safe environment. If you're not going to lead that way also, then other people will not follow on that. Is my view on it.
I was about to say this exactly what you said. It leading by example is the first thing here. But I would say also to add to that, really to add to what you just said, is
so that would be to create that safe environment. We hear Papa.
Do I hear some? Okay. No, but Danielle, really great question about psychological space, safety, and safety is so individual from each and every one of us. And if I would say something that I have used personally towards my teams when I was in corporate, and that I'm believing strongly in, is to delegate and empower others to take responsibilities. As in, right now, and looking at how organizations are built, it's a lot of, you have the employees, you have the managers, and the employees have to ask the managers for permission. They have to always go that direction, and that doesn't build trust in its own. It doesn't build that I feel that I can't do a mistake, for instance, right? And I loved a TED talk that I heard about create the moment where you create this. It's the performance ground and it's the training ground. Often when we're at work, especially, it's like we don't feel that we're allowed to, let me say it really blunt, fuck up. So, okay, in that case, create this space then when you can, when people are allowed to feel that they're really in this meeting to really come up with the most ridiculous ideas and then give them, the team in this case, this power, this responsibility of, okay, take that with you home for 5 days and try to come up with reasons or ways that we can actually make that happen. This way, I think I'm going to use Pascal's favorite word, I think. They will feel empowered. You will feel very empowered as a person as well. You're building trust and you're building that safety that Danielle, she left now, but
I think she lost the connection. You know, she was dialing in with her phone. I think my camera is frozen as well, but I'm here, so just to let you guys know. So thank you so much for answering that question. So I do have a very good following comments from Brian that I would like to show. Since we were talking about psychological safety as leaders, what he says that as leaders we care and feed our gardens. Each of us grow. There are hot days and there's droughts. It's what we give and receive is the magic. Be present each moment, waste no opportunities. And do you guys have any comments? I think it just goes very well with the psychological safety, you know, being authentic, being in the moment, being present. But any other comments, you know, from you, Eric? I think it's a great comments, you know, like from leaders' perspective.
Yeah, I mean, Brian, beautiful, well put. I don't really know if I should say anything more to what you just said, that would you like to, I don't know, would you like to specify the question a little bit more? Because I think the comment in its own is brilliantly put.
Yeah, I think that's, yeah, it's just a comment that, you know, like he shared, but anything to add, Pascal?
Yeah, Brian, beautiful. Yeah, greetings to America over the big sea. The only thing what I would add, because it's good as you wrote it, of course, offer help proactively if you want to do these things, and make it unconditional. I think that's also very, very important. Don't attach helping and what you say with feeding the garden and taking care of. Don't do it with like a business. I give something, I expect something back. Just do it unconditional. I think that's very important, that we open our hearts there and see what now actually connects all of us, and that we don't have to play the game of I give you something, my win is your loss, and so on and so on. So I think that this is something which is just to add to this, because Ryan phrased it very, very nicely.
Yes, that's
nicely you, dear, but okay.
Yes, I'm here. Something, you know, with my camera, you know, I don't know, I don't see myself, but I see you guys. So, so we don't have any other questions, but we do have some comments. Yes, from Mette, that commented at the beginning. So what she says that people feel motivated when they are in charge to solve the problems. They counter, without needing to ask for permission. That's a very great point that you mentioned, Eric. And the way we have created our organizations doesn't invite people to feel inspired. That goes back to, like psychological safety that we talked about. And therefore it comes much more difficult to find your own motivation. I think I see a comment, but also like a question, like in these kind of situation when, people are, don't feel inspired in organizations or, work environment, and it becomes difficult to actually find their own motivation. Is there any tricks or kind of a strategy or just the, like tips, like I want to say that you guys might have?
To do what?
Well, to bring your own motivation in these difficult situations where you don't feel inspired, when you are just, like needing to ask for permission. Like, is there anything like we can actually do personally as an individual?
Well, I want maybe to add something to what Mette wrote. Because she writes, the way we have created our organizations doesn't invite people to feel inspired. I think that is one of the parts of evolution. So the organizations will make next steps. That wasn't necessary for a certain time, which it lies behind us. And we have to change this now, this approach. Definitely, I completely agree with you, but also accepting that that was a necessary part of our all evolution, of our being a human, as a human race. It was a part of us, but we have to find ways to change that now because it's necessary. That step has to be done. So I completely agree. There are multiple tools what you can do, and a lot of organizations are already on that way of doing it. And some are faster, some are slower, some didn't start at all with it. Some are already in these kind of things, and as long as they are moving in that direction, to have raising already the question, how do I create a work environment so that people feel inspired and motivated? When they start already with that question, I think that's the step into the right way, and then the dialogue starts.
Dear Pascal, what you just said, exactly what you said there. I would just like to add this thing of, I saw it in the question, in the comment too. If we can also in that mode saying, I don't want to find it, I want to create it. Now we really have the two building blocks on moving forward. Absolutely.
And also believing in that's really my experience after I've met so many people, believing in the good of the people. There are not so many people who do things with a bad intention. They just don't know how. And this is where we have to share and to help each other in making that step. Because believe me, even the biggest CEOs, they feel there has to change something. And only the minority is not there yet. And there we have to help each other. So I completely agree. And it's still a lot of work to do, but I have faith that this will work out good.
Yes, also we have a very good comments that goes a great example of the tips from Maria. I want to show you guys that motivation comes and goes, and it's all about creating a new habits and work on our discipline. So when we are trying to find our, like own motivation, when we are not inspired, per se, and it's a good way of, like creating habits and just trying what we start liking, because in some people, during pandemic, they discover new things about themselves, what they really like to do. So that's a good point, or just a tip.
And I think you said something there again, Nasli, which prompted me to say, as a first step, it's often like I'm hearing this thing of, it's time to also to accept that what you were planning, as in, you mentioned this thing of that I'm not feeling inspired, right? I'm not feeling motivated. Brings me back to a conversation I had yesterday. And this thing of, well, if you are not feeling inspired, if you're not feeling motivated right now, that is a clue. It's like a symptom for you to take a big, good look at what you are doing, who you are with, and what the heck you're doing with these people. Because as you said, if you're not feeling it, Well, it's time to start there before just going on a rat race to try to find something else out there.
Absolutely. And maybe if I can add something to also what Maria said, motivation comes and goes, yes, and it's all about creating new habits. There's a really nice book what you can read about this Atomic Habits from James Clear, which is a good one. And he also says motivation comes and goes, yes, if you connect the motivation to goals. You have to connect it to systems. So I want to give it an example. If you want to run a marathon, if that's the goal and that's your motivation to go out running, and maybe there are plateaus of motivation and so on, just what you said, motivation comes and goes. Some people will do it, will get the goal. Some people won't because they will stop training then in that matter. But if you go into systems and find habits there, for example, then I'm a runner. That's what I do. That's what I do. And then one of the things is, okay, I want to test, I want to look, and one of the things is I'm going to run a marathon with other people. So to find this and to create that's way better to create this motivation, that it doesn't go really up and down, but that stays in a smaller, how you say that, waveform. That's what I think.
Yes, thank you so much. Is there any other comments or questions? We're almost at the end of our hour. So we have another one from Danielle, and we need mass mutual reliance. Thank you. Connecting humans. Thank you, Danielle. Any other comments? Okay, so is there anything that you would like to add before we close our broadcast today? And Eric or Pascal, what I wanted to add is that, like from my side, is there's an interesting topic right now that I mentioned at the beginning. For some reason, my camera is not working, but I'm here. I can see you guys, so it's not on purpose that my camera is off. It's frozen, so that some companies and workplaces are pushing more intrinsic motivation rather than extrinsic motivation. It used to be a lot of people like self-motivation, how to motivate themselves with more external, and versus companies are looking more like an inner core, especially after pandemic, how we can motivate ourselves. That's just my comments, how people they could look at their inside of like inner core, like more like self-awareness, and making sure that they follow like the people around you, like Eric, you mentioned, that have a purpose and vision, and understand why they are with those people in the environment that they are feeling more safe. Any other ones, before we close down for today?
I mean, I would love to finish with a note from mine to just say the question, this challenge that we have seen and observed is how to stay motivated and motivate others. And I would really love to leave everyone who's watching with this thing of, if you're feeling that you're not that motivated right now, if you're feeling that you would love to motivate others, then look at what you are doing on a very basic daily level, as in, what are you doing when you're waking up? Are you right onto your phone? Are you straight into emails? Are you straight into meetings? Is that how you're starting your day? How much water are you drinking? What type of food are you eating? How often are you eating? How much are you eating? Who are you talking to during the day? What kind of conversation is that? Is it something that goes deep? Is it something that doesn't go deep? So with that, I'm really saying, just take a look at yourself, an honest look at yourself. And then I think it's a matter of that system, as Pascal often referred to, right? That you will become motivated yourself. And when you're motivated yourself, you become motivational.
Thank you so much, Eric. Pascal, if you want to just give like last minute tips to all the participants and people that are connected with us.
Watch out how you talk to yourself.
Oh,
It's very important. The
there we go.
question,
Mic drop.
No, I have even a mic. No, but the questions that you ask yourself, that's very important. I think that's the quality of the questions how you talk to. So why me? Bullshit question. Sorry, put it away. Yeah? What can I learn from this situation? Way better question to ask yourself. This is why is it so hard for me? Bullshit question. So what can I improve? Way better question. To start questions like, what if it could work? To challenge yourself in that a little bit. And when you challenge yourself, you create these little things. And just what if, when you get up in the morning and you start with this like a mantra, what if I could make this day a little bit better now? A little bit, 1%, that's already enough. 1%, 1%, 1%, 1%, that's already helping a lot. What if I could today make somebody else smile? And when you go already in this, I also to have like a sentence and a mantra, maybe that when something happens to you that could be demotivating, that you have as an instant reaction. I have one sentence that helps me. I will always find a way. That's my sentence. When something happens, that's my immediate reaction. My brain is already, I will always find a way. And suddenly the door is opening. So look how you talk to yourself, train yourself in that, and it will help you a lot on the personal level. And then you can also help others to do the same. That's it always starts with you.
I think we should have a whole episode on that later on.
Oh yeah,
it's a really good one.
So now we have Alexander coming back and gonna give our a tip before we close down. Like, what are your tips? Like to motivate yourself, people, and around you, Alexander.
A lot of things has been said already, and I love your tips, Pascal. You almost stole some of mine, but it's all right. I share. There is something that I was not really believing it, is how you connect yourself with the whole, with the universe, with everything that is surrounding. And a good friend of mine, Alexandra Virag, she said to me, when I really want something, I just connect with the universe and say, I am whole, I am one with it, and place your intention and let go. And the funny thing, just a quick story, I was transporting a big mirror and it was making too much noise. I was afraid to break it in my car. And I knew that in front, there would be a traffic light. And I say, please, I'm connected. I would love that traffic light to go red when I arrive there. And guess what? I arrive there, it become red. Give me enough time to go around, to secure my mirror, and then go on. So trust yourself, trust life. Everything happened for a reason. There is, Mandela as well said, you never lose anything. You never lose. Either you win or you learn. And that's where you come, Pascal, and say, okay, what can I learn today? From that situation, what can I learn? Okay, the what if that is a lesson, what is it that I have to learn? If it's repeating all the time, what is it that I didn't learn? As you learn it, off you go. And as you say, Eric, we could make a 1-hour talk about it.
Yes, that's true.
That's something
yes.
so interesting.
Yeah, I see you guys. I'm so sorry that you guys cannot see me. My picture is still frozen, so you guys are gonna be just seeing the blank site talking right now. I know it's not fun, but thank you so much all for joining us today. We're very, very excited to see you guys for our next episode next Thursday. And if you have any questions, you guys can reach out to us, through LinkedIn. And thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you, Naz.
Okay, thank you, boss. Thank you, the black square over there.
Bye.
Everybody that watched, thank you.
Thank
See you
you
next Thursday.